Yes, perfect.
All right, so
Okay.
hello everybody. Rick Chartrand again and Sustainable Success,
Hello.
the podcast. And today I'm very happy to have as my guest
Nice to meet you.
Ester Lampreave. Esther is from, and tell me if I pronounce this wrong, Tarragona in Spain, a small
Yes.
community
Yes.
just outside of Barcelona. And I
That's
first
right.
became aware of Esther by through social media. She posts some really great videos showing very good form for her exercise programs and her working with her clients and whatnot. And we spoke earlier this week, and I learned that she has a background in ballet. She has a background in Pilates, and now
Yes.
she is doing personal training, one-on-one training with clients. So maybe just to start off, Esther, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Thank you so much for.
Yeah, so for our respective audiences, can you tell us a little bit about your background with ballet and with Pilates?
Well, as you told everybody, I was dancing when I was maybe 20s. And then I become a personal trainer in Pilates. I did like that kind of job because also is very conscious, concentrate in paying attention all the time in the body. But I thought that maybe it was not enough because they all the time consider this core very important, and maybe not considering all other parts like a knee or shoulder, and maybe we must train that person strengthening that knee or that hip, shoulders, any part of the body is as well as important as the core. Pilates is brilliant if you are so good in this technique, and you need to be also very flexible. For me, extremely flexibility, and it's not specific, it's not for everybody, because I had also clients, men, who, they are not so flexible, so could be a problem to teach them. And I think if it's not apt for everybody, that discipline is not a kind of safe exercise. So when I met Dr. Doc McGuff, he explained very clear this kind of training. It must be executed very slow to take care of the joints, and also to be able to strengthen the muscles. The muscles is the most important part to be trained. But considering the joints, they are so delicate, and it's a risk if we do it with a repetitive movement, or maybe without not enough weight. So it's an impact, and can be a great problem for the joints, mostly in people as my age, that we are not 30, for example. Let's say that we need strong our muscles, our joints, and also all the body, the metabolism as well, the heart. I mean, this kind of exercise also, you can train the breathing well, of course, but you can train this part of cardio.
Cardiovascular, yeah.
It goes with the strength training.
So you mentioned Doug McGuff. He's the author of Body by Science. You mentioned that book.
Yeah, that's right.
You met Doug and you read that book, and you've mentioned that was life-changing for you.
Yeah, it has changed my life. Also, the way I train to my clients, because I think it's so important to explain people the importance of strength your muscles and your joints, but I didn't know how. Physiology, I didn't know how to make it with the safety way. So now I've realized it's the best way and the safest way, and should be bring for all the people, not just young people, older people, any kind of people who wants to be and feel strong for any kind of life. Maybe they are also very sportive people, but they need to feel stronger to be good at any sport.
So walk me through, let's say that I come in off the street, I've been referred by a friend, and I walk into your facility and I know nothing about this type of exercise. And so what would the first interview look like? What's the sorts of things you would explain to me? Because this is very different. Let's say I'm going to put myself in the shoes. I've heard about jogging. I've heard about CrossFit. I've heard about Pilates and yoga.
Losing fat.
What's that?
Yeah.
So how would you start off
or
explaining to me?
losing fat.
Or losing fat, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So what would your first interview with me look like?
First of all, I told my clients to take one session with me. They realize it's so important the way we do it, and they actually can realize it's not a risk, it's not dangerous. They can feel it in their body. And also I trying to explain only the most, very briefly, the most important things that are the joints. Be careful with the joints and be careful with the impacts on them, so they can understand very quickly, because they heard about strength training, but they didn't know how. Let's say that the doctor normally mentioned these things, but unfortunately the doctor doesn't know how. That's the biggest problem. The doctor may say, well, this is a problem that you can solve if you train your muscle. Okay, that people, they don't know how, and they go to the gym. And you know as well as me that in the gym, the weight goes up and down, and that's it. So it's only for the young people, because if you are like from 40s, 50s, that's a bit risky. But the biggest problem, I think, is the doctor, or maybe the person who says you must lose weight, or maybe in the gym, the personal trainer who is telling you go faster and explosive, and I don't know, many message on your brain keep saying you just go and get active, and without caring the joints, or without caring that people specific their problem. I don't know if it's good explanation, if it's clear.
Well, I think in Doug McGuff's book, he talks about exercise as something that promotes health and fitness without damaging your health. And I think there are a lot of ways. Actually, just earlier today, I started to listen to an interview of Doug McGuff again, and he said you can get in shape by, going in your backyard and digging a hole. You can get in shape by swinging a sledgehammer on a tractor tire, but there's all kinds of issues with the joints, as you put it. So it's kind of, I often use, and I think I've borrowed this from Doug, is you can take medicine that works, but it has side effects. So
that's right.
What you want is medicine that works, but doesn't have side effects. So exercise that gets you in shape, but hurts your joints, eventually you're not going to stick with it. So now let me ask you, you went from Pilates to slow training. Did you bring a lot of your same clients with you? Clients who started with you with Pilates, who you eventually...
Actually, I have to admit that I lost some clients because they prefer the Pilates, they prefer the easiest way,
right,
and they didn't like to suffer as we do in this kind of training.
Okay, but you've kept some of them.
Yeah, yes, lucky me, yes.
Yeah. So what is your age group of your average client? How old would they be?
Well, let's say from 40s, but also I have some daughters, they are training with their mommies together. So the daughters, maybe they are 18, 20s, so they are young enough to be able, and they can now explore this kind of training because of their moms.
Okay.
So it's a good chance that now they are so young and they can even practice this kind of training.
Well, and it's interesting.
And then,
I was going to say, it's interesting. You said that some of the things in the gym are for young people, but many times the injuries that we incur in our teens and our 20s are the ones that come back to haunt us. I don't know you very well, but I would be willing to bet, maybe not a lot of money, but some money, that you're probably dealing today with some of the things where you hurt yourself when you were dancing and things like that when you were young, and might not have been that big a deal then, but some of them are coming back to haunt you a little bit now. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, for sure. Yes, everybody knows that if you go to the gym, you have to take the situation that maybe from time to time you're gonna get an issue and your joints, or maybe an inflammation, but it's part of the process. They say, well, never mind, it's better to go there and get an injury. I say, okay, I wouldn't go if it's not sure 100%.
Right.
And then they adapt that exercise, doing it very lightweight, very smooth without not a big effort, you know. It's like, well, you go, but doing it very lightly. You understand?
So they don't get much benefit at that point.
That's right. They just feel great because they can go. It's like you do it smoothly because then it doesn't hurt you.
Well, the interesting thing is being able to work hard and safe.
That's right. That's the clue.
A lot of times, for example, CrossFit, I find they've discovered intensity. They've definitely worked hard,
Yeah.
but they've thrown safety out the door.
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying is some people work safe, but they don't work hard and they don't get results.
That's right.
Sometimes
For the reason they can go every day in the week.
Yeah, well, and I think sometimes Ken Hutchins, I don't know if you've read some of his material.
Yeah. Yes. Sure.
Ken Hutchins had something, he used the Latin word, I forget what it was. I think it was Dux ex machina, and it means God in the machine. And
Yeah.
people think that just magically making the weight stack go up and down is going to do something magical when they don't work hard. Whereas even the best machine in the world won't do anything if you don't work hard. You're better off doing a set of smooth, hard push-ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it'll be better, you know, if you work hard and you do it properly and safely than the most expensive, most sophisticated machine in the world if you never work hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's right. I think the big problem is that the people doesn't like to come and suffer.
Right.
So they want only very easy things, just to be the mind, you see, mindfulness and so on. So they go and walk, they go and swimming, they go and dance, they go and...
Well, and I think what they're doing there, again, quoting Ken Hutchins, is they're confusing recreation.
That's right.
And I think recreation, and I'm sure you agree, is important too. And the mindfulness and all those things, there are benefits to that, but it's not going to make you stronger.
It's nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
No relation.
I say to people, this may not be fun, but it won't take long. It'll be over quickly. And then you can get on and go do that other stuff that you enjoy doing.
That's right.
Now, are you, your demographic, is it even with women and men, or is it kind of a little more of one than the other?
More women.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got some boys, some men, but mostly women.
Okay.
I have to recognize that the men, they consider other kind of sports because also they are stronger. They have not so many problems as we have. Actually, the woman is weaker, less strength, and mostly after menopause. And I think and I see the men are stronger. They are brilliant when they train hard because the body can stand that big effort. But it's like they don't need a personal trainer. Being a woman.
Well, I think, interestingly, I haven't figured out, I think I'm about half and half. One of the things I've noticed is that women train as probably harder than men.
That's right.
because I think, or maybe not train harder is not the right choice of words, but
Maybe.
they don't suffer as much. Like men, they make, I have to always tell them, don't make faces, relax, all these things. And it's almost like it's a big production for them.
That's right.
And women tend to stay calm and whatnot. Maybe that's why women are able to give childbirth and men would never be able to handle that, because
That's right.
so I find that women are able, and you talk
Big
about
ones.
people don't like to suffer, but people sometimes I ask me, is your workout fun? And I say, well, not in the conventional sense of fun, but I do believe that a lot of people get a real sense of fulfillment from pushing themselves to their limits, to
That's
really
right.
feeling like they've got. Now, it takes a little while to get there, because at
Yes.
first they're like, oh my God, this is hard. And then later it turns from, oh my God, this is hard, to bring it on, I can do this.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
they've crossed that point. It's sort of almost like, the miracle happens and they start to get into it. Now,
Yeah.
do you offer nutritional counseling at all, or do you stick with the exercise?
Exercise.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I found is the nutritional part, I will provide information, but I find it's very hard. I can control what people do for a half an hour, 45 minutes in my shop.
And that's it.
But hard to control what they do when they leave
No.
their shop. So I know here in North America, obesity is reached a stage where there's more people overweight than not. Is that true in Europe, or is it, you think, less so in Europe?
The same, Richard, the same. For this reason, there are so many people running on the streets without having no idea at all how to run, or maybe how to, I don't know, in the street making big movement. They think they must be active to lose weight, because I think the fault is about doctors. They keep saying, go and do cardio, go and get moved, and they shouldn't do these things. They shouldn't say these things, because then it's like blaming on this brain that you have to keep active all the time, and you get nervous because actually it's not sustainable in the time. They should learn how to eat, and then if you need to lose weight, you have to cut the calories at the end of the day. And you should know that if you go in a party or in a great situation of celebration, you could eat from time to time, but then you have to look after and take care what you eat, not going out and run or going many times to the gym, thinking that you're gonna spend that calorie. I think so.
People think I'll have an extra piece of cake and I'll spend an extra 20 minutes on the treadmill tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work that way. But you make a good point that if you're good most of the time, then you're able to be bad once in a while.
That's right.
And enjoy it more as well. Right?
That's right.
Because it's a special treat. So now, how long have you been training people in this slow fashion?
Wow, it was 2005. No, 2007, I think. Yeah, 2007, I begin to study the biomechanics. Then 2010, I become a Pilates teacher,
Right.
personal trainer. And then I met Doc McGuff about, it's been about 8-9 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so since then, you've been training people in this method.
Yeah, because I used to have different machines from Pilates. I send them all.
Right.
And I bought machines for the training Pilates, slow training method, but I went step by step, not all in a time.
Right.
Yeah,
So in 8 years, you've had some of your clients then, many of your clients, I would guess, for several years.
Some of them, they are from 8 years ago, but many, they are coming and going. You know what it goes, these things.
So
They are not.
were you
Sorry?
forced to shut down in the last couple of years at some points due to COVID?
Never. I was lucky because on the pandemic time, I had the opportunity to work online. It was for a few months, but I keep working during that hard time anyway.
Now, did the economic stress of COVID, were there some clients who had to leave because they couldn't afford it because of challenges they were facing due to the pandemic?
Not because of economic, but because of the fear to get a COVID illness.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about some success stories, either your own or some of your clients, things that you're particularly proud of.
Many.
Right?
That's the motivation. Keep me very happy being this kind of job that is very personal. I consider myself very special because you don't have to share it with a group. You can only rely on that people you have in front of you. They can explain you very clear what's their problems. Maybe it's problems they feel it very deep inside, because during the day, the long day, you must work, you must keep going, and because of the stress, you never can feel it exactly where is the pain on your body.
Right.
So this kind of method, it allows you to be very precise. Like, listen, if the pain now is here, maybe it goes up to the neck. So for this, you feel very not clear in your mind when you're walking. And after 1, 2, 3 sessions, they feel great. And in a very few time, only you stay 30, 40 minutes a week, and you can feel great the rest of the time.
So do you train your clients? Lately oops, my microphone fell off here. Lately, I've heard some people in our community, if you will, the HIT community or the slow training community, talk about once a week is better than twice a week, and other people seem to say that twice a week is better than once a week. And I struggle with both of those because I tend to think that it's individual and it depends on each individual. Have you found any patterns for you?
I think actually I think it makes no difference at all, Richard, because the body doesn't know about if today is Friday and the next will be Wednesday. The body just don't care about it. They need to feel the muscles strong, and you have to keep it this train from time to time, and be careful you don't train too often.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think.
Well,
So it's because of the economical problem that most of them, they think must come for 1 or 2 sessions, but it's mentally vision, not physical, not even, they think maybe the more they do, the better I feel.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
and it's not true.
Yeah, I think there's some benefits. The other day, I don't know if you saw on YouTube, I posted. I have a client who comes very on and off. He worked out on the weekend. He hadn't been here in over a month. And before that, sometimes 10 days, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. And he keeps getting stronger. I don't change the weights. He keeps getting stronger. I do think there will be benefits for him to come more often, but you can get strong on very little and very infrequent. How many exercises would you get people to do? And does that vary very much from individual to individual?
An average of 8 to 10 and 12 maximum.
And if you're going to 10 and 12, I would think that there's some small body parts involved there.
Yes, exactly. Or maybe that the effort is not as high as should be.
So yeah, if they don't, and so you compensate with a little more volume.
Yeah, that's right.
One of the things,
but it's depending on the people.
I've watched some of your videos, and I find you've gotten creative with some of the things you're using with a combination of body weight and plates, holding plates in your chest and things like that.
Yeah, because it's a weight. You have to add weight to your body weight.
Yeah, so I noticed, and I don't know, because it didn't come an explanation. I think there's a type of leg squat exercise, but it looks to me like you're really trying to emphasize the quads in that one. Am I correct in assuming that there's a certain version? Because I notice your legs are pretty close together, and it's not quite a hack squat, but it reminds me a little bit of a hack squat, because I found when I was training people on Zoom, of course, a wall squat will do it, but I found it hard to find exercises that really sort of emphasize the quads. Am I right that you had some of those exercises where you're really trying to target the quads?
Yeah, that's right. And depending on each one, you can go deeper or not, depending. Let's say my mom, she wouldn't go deep enough, never.
Right.
Yeah. So unless you are very strong or very well prepared, you don't go as deep as should be.
Right. So your mom is you train your mom?
I train my mom. She now is 84, and I'm so proud to be her trainer. I'm so happy.
How long has she been with you?
Yeah. She used to come with me in Pilates time also. And I told her, look, Mom, we have to change our mind and get stronger. No good at Pilates anymore.
So, yeah, I noticed with Pilates, it's, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard the expression, he who is good with a hammer thinks that everything is a nail. And Pilates seems to have hung their hat, and I admittedly am not an expert in Pilates, but they seem to have hung their hat on the core, as the core being sort of the essence of everything.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that like you can't not use your core. In other words, if you're doing overhead presses, if you're doing leg presses, if you're doing whatever,
anytime.
You
Yeah,
have to use it. And
that's right.
I competed, I don't know if you know this about me, back in 2007, 2008, I competed briefly in just amateur bodybuilding, just something that I wanted to do, kind of a bucket list kind of thing to say I did it. And I did get very lean, and I had pretty good abdominal area. And people would say, well, you must have done hours and hours of crunches and things like that. And the truth is that I do train my abs sometimes, not often, but at that time I didn't train my abs at all.
Yeah, because it was no fat on it.
That's right. I mean, there's the old saying, abs are not made in the gym, abs are made in the kitchen.
In the kitchen, yes.
Right? So
you're right, yeah.
So now your mom's been training.
Richard, sorry?
Your mom's been training with you. She's 84. Does she use a cane or a walker or anything, or is she still very mobile for her age?
She's able to walk, but very slowly. Very slowly.
Okay. And yes. But without the use of a cane or a walker?
Maybe from time to time, because he had to be in the hospital long time, and it was 2 months ago. She lost a lot of strength,
right?
A lot of muscle. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting.
And she feel a little bit insecure, but I think is because of the in the brain, she's not like, she doesn't feel secure to go alone.
Right. So it's more not so much to support her, but just to in case type of thing, make her feel safer.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Doug McGuff makes a good point in some of his interviews that additional muscle, if you do have like a major accident or a major illness where you have to be in a hospital for an extended period of time, how long you'll last is dependent on how much muscle you have to lose.
That's right.
It's one thing to lose muscle, but you have to have it to lose it, because if you're going in there and you're already have lost most of your muscle, you won't last very long.
Yeah, I was there with her in the hospital, and we kept training the muscles of the knees, because I knew it that later would be so difficult. So, but she felt quite tired, quite not in a good mood. You see, when you feel it, when you're not feeling good, you will not good energy. But I was trying to keep at least a little bit muscle.
Good for you, and good for her.
Being in the hospital, yeah.
So how many sessions a week would you do in your facility approximately?
Well, it depends actually on the month. Every month is quite changeable, but it's more difficult for me to get some new clients in the afternoon, because as I told you, is one-on-one session or only one and two couple. So for this reason, the timetable is reduced.
Right.
And also I could learn that I need one afternoon free, a Friday afternoon. This is for me.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, maybe you get too many sessions, and it's dangerous also to have too many.
Yeah, one of the mistakes, well, I don't know if I'll call it a mistake. I've been only doing this now for about 3 years. And as a new business, I tried to be available. So I'm working 7 days a week. And not every day is full, mind you. Some days I might only have 3 or 4 sessions. Other days I might have 11 or 12. Those are my busiest days. And
For me, the maximum is 8 session days, but from time to time, not always. But the maximum I can absorb 8 the same day.
yeah, it's more tiring than people think. One of the things.
So how long it takes the session, Richard?
Well, if I don't talk too much, because I have a problem sometimes, I talk too much. But if I just get people in and out, like for example, just before we started, gentleman came in at 8:45 and he was out here at 20 after. So 35 minutes, he did 8 exercises in and out. We chatted a little bit, but very little bit, basically going from exercise to exercise. So typically, if my wife, because as you noticed the other day, this is my home. So my wife is in the next room and she can hear me. And sometimes she says, Rick, you talk too much, because I'll get into conversations and different things. But I'm a people person, and I like to socialize.
We are human beings.
Yeah, but I also understand that, especially when I have lots of sessions, I need to, keep things moving, because sometimes you have to do things like go to the bathroom between clients. So you got to be careful and got to get ready between clients and whatnot. So you have a good social media presence. You post videos and things like that. And
I do like that people know what we do. As you said, this kind of training is not so often, is not well known. Maybe the opposite. Maybe people, mostly women, they think it's not fair, it's not secure. And for the reason, I like to explain it, because it's based on science.
Right.
Well, not because I'm telling them, but because of science behind.
Right. Don't take my word for it. Here's the science behind it. Right? In other words, you're saying
that's right. That's right.
Interestingly, you have a fan, somebody that I know is one of your fans. I was training this lady to help me out as a backup trainer, and it may yet be, and her name is Irasema. I'm forgetting her last name now. I know her husband's name is Home. She's from Venezuela. So she speaks Spanish, and she often posts on social media, often in Spanish. And so when I showed her your social media presence and the things you were doing, of course, because you also obviously post in Spanish, and so because she came to me, and very much having been influenced by all the personal trainers from your Apple Watch and the Apple stuff, all those trainers that get you to do all these things, and she'd done all these various things, and sort of was new to this slow training, made sense to her. So She may yet come to work with me. Irasema, if you're listening to this, I haven't given up on you. But she, of course, life is what it is. She became pregnant and just recently had a baby boy. So obviously that sort of put things a little bit on hold, at least temporarily. But
Yeah.
she's a big fan of your videos and things. She looks.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
if people would like to reach you for interviews, speaking engagements, clients, things like that, is your Facebook page, your TikTok page, are those things, if you can send me links to that so that I can post it in the notes so that people can reach you if they want to, because I think you do things on TikTok.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I also work online, virtual sessions, and it's also very interesting, this kind of training method, because it's so easy to carry during anywhere, anytime. It's so easy to be able to meet people from all over the world. I mean, it's a very interesting way to train people.
Yeah,
Do you train online, Richard, as well?
I have a client currently in Utah. And who is, interestingly, we met online, and she's actually going to come and visit here in August. And I have a client in Colorado, right next to, well, I say Colorado, he's traveled, he's all over the place. I have clients who are just in Southern Ontario. And at one point I had a client during the shutdown. I was training a lady in Australia, which was kind of cool. And it was all from referrals, right? And or on social media, people during the lockdown was actually good for business, because one of the ladies, the one from Utah, when her gym shut down and I started talking about online training, she reached out to me and said, I'd like to try that. My gym's closed, so let's do it. And even though her gym's open again, she's staying with me and doing it online. So
yeah, because you are good, obviously.
So what have I not asked you about that you would like? What's the message that you would leave people that we haven't talked about? Is there anything in particular that you think is very important that we include in this interview?
Yeah, because I think the most important, I think people must know that the muscle is gonna lose as we age. This is the most important you must know. Actually, they don't realize, because it doesn't come from today to tomorrow. They come very slowly, but suddenly it's painful. Suddenly it's the big problem, becomes big problem. So knowing that the muscle, it doesn't keep in your body for the whole life, actually it goes down very quickly from your 50s, maybe, Richard,
right?
50s. So we have, because of science, we have now discovered this great way to train our muscles without any painful on your joints. So it's like a miracle, because you can differ muscles and joints. It's completely different the way they are. The issue is completely different.
Right. Interesting.
So, yeah, as they know this part, as we age, we lose muscle. It's very important and necessary to train them. In the best way we have is going and moving very slow, but the only way is to train hard. No miracle at all. Being anything, they're gonna be strong. No, must be hard. And for the reason, I train it slow.
That's a great message. Thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time today.
Thank you. Thank you as well, Richard.
I will send you the video. I will publish sort of an abbreviated, not abbreviated, but not with as much information at first, and then there'll be more again.
Shorter, yeah.
So,
And the next time we can do it the reverse. I'm gonna ask you all the questions, and you could also explain about your background.
I look forward to it. Reach out to me,
Next
and
time.
I'd be very pleased to do that. And I will
appreciate so much your time, Richard.
Well, likewise, and let's keep in touch. I hope to have made a new friend. So,
Best regards.
okay, bye for now.
Keep safe. Bye, bye.